But anyways, I can finally introduce you as my subject for today, Youssef Shoufan, who's running for mayor of Saint-Laurent for Projet Montréal.
Yes.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you for
I've got
having
some
me.
great questions. In the past, you can consider yourself a filmmaker, community activist of some kind as well.
In a way,
Presenter. I've seen you on Télé Québec before,
yes.
so it's interesting to have you next to me for once. Like I mentioned, you've worn a lot of hats, but why the jump now into politics and why Projet Montréal?
They approached me
Hmm.
this summer. I received a text message and I was like, that kind of message you receive and you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting it. But at the same time, when I started thinking about it, it felt kind of not natural, but the continuity of something that I've been doing in the last 15 years. So
Hmm.
I, I remember I was thinking of when I used to work near Abbott's Square Cabot,
Hmm.
Cabot Square, and I used to work there as a facilitator with homeless people, and it was like, if I jump into that right away, it was like tough times and tough things I've seen, and so I've been always like involved in trying to make the city better, the people live in more decent manners. So to follow up on that question of why, so the party approached me.
Hmm.
I felt honored in a way because I feel like my values are aligned with theirs. I'm also like presenting myself in a borough where historically Projet Montréal hasn't like
Yep.
been elected. So I'm really realistic. Like I know what I'm doing. So just to already push in that direction and move things is already a win for me.
It is. Yeah, I did notice for sure that I guess it's decent to say dominated by Ensemble Montréal for the past couple of years.
Yeah, and the other names they have had before because it has changed. But
Yeah.
yes,
But what do people usually talk about when um, you meet with them to present yourself? Does the topic of ensemble come up? What are those discussions like?
there's a funny thing we're into in Saint Laurent because sometimes people are like, "Oh, we want change,"
Hmm.
thinking of the city of Montreal. Do you also want it for the borough? So I have what people talk to me about, they just tell me about how fast people are going in the street in
Hmm.
front of them. And there are like these excuses or reasons, but then I'm talking to the woman, I look, and people are like going super fast. So it's like very specific things like that. And what can I tell them? The only thing I can say is like, I'm hearing you. What I wish for is come back in 4 years and tell you we did it.
Younger Montrealers. I mean, obviously, there's also just to sort of hammer in the point. There's also Vanier, CEGEP that's also there.
Yeah.
So which a lot of Concordia students end up coming from there. So on the general topic of of youth, a lot of youth probably feel, from what I understand, a lot of youth probably feel a little bit disengaged with city politics.
Yeah.
What concrete things are you going to try to do to improve life for students in the area?
It's a little sad to see that the percentages of people who vote are so low,
Hmm.
especially like municipal levels all around Quebec. But if we look at Saint Laurent more specifically, it's even below average. Last elections, it was like 28.1%, which is very low.
Mm.
And in my opinion, there are two main reasons why this is happening. One, you could say, oh, people are not interested, and I'm not saying like for good or bad reasons, but if you think of a family that just arrived, that they have so many things to think of, maybe it's not their priority to be involved in the on the political level just by voting. Even if they are affected by these decisions. So we can explain the reasons why don't do it, but I also think part of the blame, if we talk about it this way, is
Mm.
the system itself, the structure, but also the people who are there. And what I feel is I would like to be that person that brings the energy for people to be interested in politics, because I think if you bring not like only the fun, but if you have that nice energy, I think you can bring people together with you. So students, I was a student myself. I went to UCAM. So one of the things Projet Montréal is proposing
Yeah.
is to have a registry of the les loyers of the city, because we know that when you have that information accessible, it's easier, for example, to negotiate or know where you're coming from, because landlords sometimes do not respect certain rules. But if you have more information from the student level, like that could help. So that's one thing. Another thing could be, and it is in the power of the city. Sometimes, like even myself, I'm new into this and I'm like, I didn't even know like the city has powers of, for example, buying land, buying buildings,
Yeah.
and maybe not handle it themselves, but it could be with nonprofit organizations who do it, that can help make things more affordable for the people who need it. Projet Montréal is has like leads into supporting more the not the owners, who in general have more power, more money, and are already more comfortable, and we are living this crisis. So yeah, housing, I think, because to answer your question, there are so many things that are maybe not the municipal level,
Right.
that are more maybe provincial or even well, provincial, but there are things that municipal can do.
Security has become an important topic, and not just when it comes to policing in the area, but also the other side of, let's say traffic, for example, traffic to just general violence in the area, like gun violence, let's say. Um, what is your take on the balance between policing and community-based prevention?
I really feel like policing should be, the last step. Unfortunately, we live in a society where sometimes it is necessary to have police enforcement. It is tough. Like,
Mm,
there are situations that are extremely tough. So policing is, for me, like, it's just like patching things at the end of such a big and complex thing.
right.
So you have to do it a little bit, but for me, and it's harder, but is to work on how to change the things in their structure to avoid that in the long term, or make things better in the long term, because you can police, but is it what is it doing? Is it really solving the problem,
Mm.
or is it just pushing it, or just like, so yeah,
Almost like you're almost saying it like it's a band-aid
I feel like
solution
it's a
more than, yeah, right,
band-aid, because
right.
it maybe helps in it. And there are situations, of course, but in general, my approach is to, and I've seen it because I also have worked with the departments of SPVM, who also have,
Really?
you know,
Okay.
the, I'm trying to remember the acronyms, but they do have within SPVM
Mm-hmm.
uh, people who are police officers, but have also a background and de formation training
Training, right? Okay.
in more social, psychological ways of, to not directly be in, you know, arresting people or blaming them, or just trying to uh, take it a little more easy, let's say, or maybe I think what it
Yeah,
is sometimes education in terms of understanding why maybe that person is in that position.
of course.
I grew up in Saint-Laurent, in Saint-Laurent,
Yeah.
and it was already a little bit rough when I grew up there, but we didn't see it that much. Maybe because we were children and we weren't seeing everything either. But now I've been meeting with directors of organizations who work on the ground there, And yeah, these are real issues where people sometimes don't feel safe and protected
Yeah, I
by
can imagine.
police, and what they do sometimes is themselves go look for arms to defend themselves.
Really?
This is how they feel. So yes, when you don't trust a system, it leads to maybe even worse things, because then people want to defend themselves, and it leads to crime, and people like die, really, like this is like one of the real outcomes. People don't feel safe. So I have a magic wand. This is
Yeah.
the solution. Yeah, there's no like
No, I know there
solution,
isn't. I
but I
understand.
feel like more listening to, and it starts young. You know,
I know.
early teenage, like you don't have to wait for children to be teenagers to talk about that. As soon as they're 8, 9, sometimes they live in families or in situations where they need to. We need to support them, so
Mm.
it starts young. It definitely needs more resources. Now, this is where maybe municipal level can do things, but it has also to be with provincial level, who have funds for so many things. So definitely supporting, and it has to start young. We can listen to each other, try to support when necessary, but yeah, it starts with fe- um, feeling heard, feeling
Yeah,
protected, and feeling
for sure.
safe.
Of course.
But to do that, it doesn't happen just like that. You have to create the facilities, to have the people. So yeah, it's a big challenge, but
It's a lot.
uh, yeah, like it's funny because I'm talking to you as if I'm just a citizen, but I'm like, oh, it's not impossible. I get elected, and if I do, then
Yeah.
hopefully I will be that one on the ground.
Was there anything particular that when it comes to mobility, like bike paths or the
Yeah,
STM that you wanted to sort of shortly like touch on?
it's a subject that feels like people take it to the core, like people, especially people who don't, like, for example, I do everything. I walk, I have my bike all the time, and I do have my car. I take the public transport. But for me in Saint Laurent, I was like, let's be honest, people like, yes, very car oriented.
Mm.
So I have to be balanced in what I suggest. So instead of suggesting so many new bike lanes, which I would love, I'm like, okay, I'll do the reasonable thing, is like, oh, the ones we have, secure them because they're not always secure. Or for example, there's one concrete like idea is under the underpass under the Henri
Yeah.
Bourassa, where there is like literally danger. Like if you take your bike there, it's extremely dangerous. And I think that people can understand, no matter if you're a cyclist or pedestrian or driver. So I try to find things where it's going to be good for everyone, but at the end, so yeah, sometimes I don't feel safe, and I would like everyone to feel safe. And at the end, I also feel like if people really, really love their car,
Mm-hmm.
well, if there are a lot of people not on in their cars, it's gonna be better for them. Less people on the road.
Obviously, I know that you come from a background of filmmaking.
Yes.
You're a filmmaker yourself. Montreal has quite a history when it comes to film, and
Yes.
a lot of movies have been shot in the
We
area.
can be so proud, I think, of this. Yeah.
Which of these films have Montreal as part of its scenery or background? Has if Montreal has been if the
Part
movie
of
was filmed,
yeah,
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 if
yeah.
Montreal was filmed in
Green screens included.
I don't think I have any green screens in here.
Okay.
These are all like
This would be harder, but
on location Montreal
okay,
places.
cool.
X-Men Days of Future Past.
I've seen like there's no parking signs, X-Men coming, so I feel I'm not sure if for that movie, but I would go for a yes.
You're right, yes.
Yes.
Second one, John Wick.
Oh, John Wick. My father
Hmm.
would most probably be able to answer that question because he's a fan. Uh, no,
You're right. You got it right, actually. But the second film was shot in Montreal.
but you were talking
That
about the
was the
first
first
one.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
I was trying to trick you up. So you got it. You managed to pass through that one. Blade Runner, 2049. There's some elements of it that's shot in like city areas.
Yeah. So of course Denis Villeneuve, the teacher.
Right.
Oh, I think that's another tricky question, and I think the answer is no.
You got it.
Whew.
I keep making this too
Okay.
easy. Last one is Arrival.
Oh, Arrival. That is near Montreal, but not Montreal, I think. But I think it's like in cottages. Maybe it's another trick question, and the answer is no.
It was.
Oh!
There was parts of it that was filmed on UQAM campus, I
Oh
believe.
yeah, okay. And I just said I studied at UQAM. Oh no.
Either UQAM or HEC.
Can I have like half a point?
We can give you half a point, yeah, because you're kind of right. But you are sort of right about it being filmed outside in Quebec, but not in Montreal, because
Yeah.
some of it is filmed in Rimouski. Apparently.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful scenes. So okay, now I'll have to look at it again.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Spot these Montreal
This is
scenes.
going to give you the encouragement to go back and,
Yeah.
and watch some of those Quebec or Montreal shot films. Okay, well then, thank you so much for coming on, Youssef. I appreciate
Thank
your
you so
time.
much. It was a pleasure. Serious topics, more fun one at the end. So.